this fucking movie. This movie, Pacific Rim, was awesome. Times awesome equals God only knows. What? This movie was crazy. You already know how hyped I was for this movie. And I had hella hypes for this movie. So yeah, because I came in with hella hypes. I came out was like, yo, I gotta get this joint on Blu-ray. No doubt about it. Um, the story was excellent. The cinematics, like, the way it looked was awesome. It was freaking gorgeous. Um, the actors that played in this role, like Charlie, Diego, Idris, Renko, Charlie, Byrne, those were like some of the and Max. Those were some of the like the main actors in this movie. This movie, man, this this freaking movie. Um, but yeah, that's really all I had to say about it without giving out any spoilers. So the movie was good. It was awesome. It was freaking awesome times awesome equals God only knows. And I am gonna rate it 5 out of 5 stars. That's just me now. If you've seen it and you give it I guess a 4.99 out of 5 stars, and you find one thing that's wrong, or you're very critical, that's just you. But I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. Now, that's besides the point. I'm gonna talk about some spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, which I highly doubt, but if you haven't seen it, go away, please. See, I said please. And then after you see it, come back here so we can talk about this thing, alright? So the movie starts off with a backflash of Riley Beckett and Yancey Beckett. And in the movie, I think they're twin brothers. And they're fighting in this robot called Gypsy Danger. Gypsy Danger is one badass robot. And let me just say something about the robots. The robots in this movie were freaking huge. And so were the monsters, but the robots, man, it's crazy. Like, this would be the robot, and this little thing right here that I'm playing with would be the freaking humans. But that's besides the point. Yeah, so it starts off with them fighting this big ass alien. And the way that humans get the robots to fight is basically like this. You have two people inside the robot's head, right? And you have to put on this suit, and I'm guessing the suit connects with the robot. And Riley said something like, the better the bond you have with the person fighting with you, the better you fight. And that made sense for him to fight fight along with his brother. And also in the beginning, they showed that the two people working a robot and the robot itself are one. So when the robot gets hurt, you get hurt too. And throughout the whole movie, they show that. That was basically the beginning of the movie. Then it says Pacific Rim. And all that backflashing stuff, that happened 5 years ago. And in between those 5 years, Riley Beckett, he's a construction worker. So, fast forward, 5 years from that point, and this is when Stacker comes in. He was like the general or like the colonel, or he was the guy that took control of everything and made sure everything was going according to plan, and everybody reported to him. And he came into play because he saw that Riley had skills that he wanted. He had fighting skills that he wanted. The reason he needed him was because it was bigger and stronger monsters coming through this portal, or as they would call it in the movie, they were coming through this bridge, deep in the sea or deep below the sea. And when I tell you, this freaking portal was the biggest and deepest I have ever seen. And at one point, this robot, Gypsy Danger, was falling through this portal. And I was like, yo, how deep is this thing? This thing is huge. So this is when Mako comes into play, and her acting was, it was okay for this type of movie. But nevertheless, I can, throughout the movie, I was like, why is she even in this? What's her role? Like, why is she even in this movie? But later on, I realized why she was in the movie, and that reason was because Stacker, he saved Mako years ago when she was about 5 or 6 or whatever from this big ass monster. He was fighting in a robot, and the robot was fighting the monster. So that's why. So I guess she looks up to him. I don't know what you, like, a role model. I don't know, a mentor. I don't know what you would call that, but she looks up to him and stuff. And so later on in the movie, Mako, she has fighting skills too, just like Riley, right? And they was training one day. Riley sees that Mako has fighting skills too, and he thinks it should be a good idea for them to fight side by side. But Stacker, he doesn't want her to do it because he's afraid that she might remember what happened years ago when she was about 5 or 6 of that big monster. And that's exactly what happened. And they both know that Riley and Mako are perfect to fight side by side and the robot called Gypsy Danger in order for them to destroy this bridge in which the monsters are coming from. And about an hour before the movie ends, I think it's just straight action packed robots and monsters beating the mess out of each other. And the whole time they're putting in work, Dr. Newton and I don't even know how to say his name, Gottlieb, whatever. They're both scientists, and they're trying to figure out a way to destroy the bridge, like, forever. So all of these monsters would just stop coming up. So they thought of something, but it took them a really years and years to figure out how to destroy the bridge. But they figured it out. And they figured it out by making um, Gypsy Danger a self-destruction bomb. So, like, almost at the very end, Gypsy Danger is going hands on with these monsters in the sea. Being the man that Riley is, he gives Mako the majority of his oxygen that he has left to her, and she goes into, like, this tube type floating thing, and once she gets in, she, like, shoots off to the surface of the ocean, and so it's just him inside Gypsy Danger, the robot. So he decides to go down deep, deep, deep in this portal type thing. I think he even goes to the heart of it. So that's when Riley sets off the timer for the self-destruction, bomb that is Gypsy Danger. And so when he sets it, I guess he goes into another tube. He goes into, like, this tube type thing, and he also floats up. And when that bomb goes off, that was one of the biggest bombs I have ever seen underwater. That crap was crazy, man. Wherever you are in the world, if you're watching my video, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay awesome.